Good morning, everybody. Thursday morning, 8:30. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Start the day off with a little happy music, little dancing, get that blood flowing, and mandatory. Drink it if you got it. Okay. We'll save a little of this happy music for later. Good to see everybody. I hope everything is working this morning. It is nippy out here, to say the least. It is 25 degrees colder this morning than it was yesterday morning. Had a cold front go through yesterday, and it's chilly out here. But I love it. I actually like bundling up warm, getting warm. And only problem I have is the colder it gets out there, the more my nose wants to run a little bit. So you'll have to excuse me every once in a while. I tend to that. Price we gotta pay. Sun is right in my eyes here, but it feels good, and hopefully when that sun starts going up in the sky, it'll warm up this little screen porch of mine it's like a sunroom. It's only going to get up to 65 here today, and I know I can't get many of you to really feel sorry for me when it's only going to be 65. And the absurdity of what wusses most of us Floridians are is on the morning news this morning. They actually declared this. You ready? An impact day. It's an impact day. It's going to be 50 degrees in the morning. People, this is severe weather. We have to make a big deal out of it. We have to tell you, make sure your kiddies wear a jacket when they leave the house. What the hell have we come to? If this is an emergency, geez, what the hell do you people living up in North Dakota call it? Summertime? Yes, this would be summertime for you. But down here in Florida, it's an impact day. I love it. It's nuts. I don't know if that's an indication of just how way out at lunatic our society has become in general. But so today's an impact day, my friends. So if the sky falls on my head, you'll understand that we have been warned. We've been warned. Well, good to see you all. Good to see you here today. Ellen is not with us this morning, so it's just going to be me, and we know what that means. I'm going to try to get through this. Put the 3 Qs, Q, in the chat. If you have a question for me, I have some notes here. I'm trying to think which direction I should take this in. Let me go over some of these notes here real quick for you. First thing, I got a picture of Mark Boos. Hey, Mark Boos Sr. from St. Lucie down there in Florida has got his coffee cup. Mark's a well-known member of our private community, and he was one of the 4 guys that sat around in the cigar shop with me at our last meetup, and we had a cup of coffee. Great guy. His wife, Lisa. If you're been in the private community streams, you'll know them very well. But he sent me this picture with his coffee cup. It's up on the website, on the homepage as well, with all of the photos of the t-shirts and coffee cup pictures of all of you in the gallery. So you can get one of these coffee cups for yourself. You know what to do. Just go into the show notes. There's links to it. They're fun. They really are. They really are fun. Wow, 82 people already. I really think that this 8:30 time slot is much more convenient for people than the 10 a.m. I'm still going to do the 10 a.m. on Wednesday so I can go to Sam's Club, and people on the West Coast can come in. But I think we get a much better attendance and I'm tickled to see it. I think it's a great way. It's a great way to start our day. And let me see what else I wanted to talk. Don't have a whole lot to talk about. 2 a.m. last night. Well, it was like 2:20 a.m. I forgot to put the notifications on my cell phone on silent. Something I very rarely do. And I very rarely get anybody wake me up in the middle of the night. But I forgot to put it on silent last night. 2:20 a.m. my phone goes off. And I wake up. I said, what the hell? And I look at the email. It's an email. And it's an email from Spectrum telling me that my internet is out. I have no internet. And I look over at my internet-connected clock, and there is no time displayed. And I shout out a command, and I yell, hey, and you know what the trigger word is, turn the inside lights on. And nothing happens. And I got my flashlight out of the drawer. Well, I turned my nightstand light on, which it's the last light I turned on and off. And I wandered into my office to see what was going on. And yes, it was nothing in my house. It was something in Spectrum. And they said in that email, your internet will be restored at around 5:30 a.m. And I said, well, judging by their track record, I'm going to have to make other arrangements for my morning live stream. So I actually started at 2:30 in the morning, figuring out how I was going to put all this together and be able to do this through using my cell phone as a hotspot and connecting all this stuff to it, hoping that I could find a place where I got a strong enough 5G signal to actually have the bandwidth to do this. And I've been up, my friends, since 2:30 this morning. But luckily and miraculously, exactly at 5:30, I got another email. Your internet has been restored, and sure enough, it's working. But it cost me half a night's sleep. So, we'll see. I think I'll be okay. But I was up since since dark 30. Now, so I turned on the news this morning like I usually do. I said, what's going on in the world? Are we still here? What have they blown up last night? And the news this morning was absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It just gets worse and worse every day. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at this. Some woman, 80-year-old, listen to this, some 80-year-old woman was killed by her sleep number bed. I know. Sounds incredible. And her family is suing Sleep Number, the company, for $1 gazillion because their bed ate their grandma. And I tell you, I find humor in everything, and that's the first thought I had, a mental picture of the bed just eating this 80-year-old woman. But sadly, that's not what happened. What happened was, somehow, and I don't understand it because they didn't explain it real well, but the thing deflated with her in it, and somehow it ended up trapping her between the bed and the wall. I don't know if she tried to get out of it, and she couldn't get any help, and she died there. Well, that was horrible. So I hope that the family gets $1 gazillion from Sleep Number. But there's something you just don't hear on the news every day. I told you about the weather impact day. Yes, I'm drastically impacted here this morning. And the big one, my friends, the one that has already prompted many questions from you this morning. Mitch, what's your take on the drones over New Jersey? And Maybe because I'm a drone guy and this was a drone channel and I'm a pilot and I understand aviation and I understand all that stuff. Maybe you thought that I might be able to shed some sanity and reality to that. And I think I can. I think I can. I see Pamela Suarez says, that poor woman. Yeah, I mean, geez, of all the things you spend, thousands of dollars for one of these sleep number beds and it eats you. No, thank you. I'm going to stick with my regular plain old mattress. And, oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with my mattress. At any rate, the drones. I think I'm going to answer that question for you when I get to it in the chat. It came fairly early, and I saw a couple of them, and I do want to talk about it. But I think if I start talking about it now, I think it'll just take up too much time right now. So let's just start where I usually start here. Sun in my eyes. You can see how bright it is on my face. I'm trying something different this morning. I brought out my computer glasses. These are glasses that I made specially. The distance correction is not quite as much. It's more like reading, or more like my bifocal correction in my other glasses. Somewhere in between. Designed to focus about 2 feet in front of me. And I don't like the way they look as much. I like these, my regular glasses. They're much lighter and titanium frames, and they weigh nothing. These things are a little clunky, but I can read a little easier what's closer to me on the computer screen. So maybe it'll make it a little less eye strain for me and maybe a little less of this looking forward. But I got to tell you, the sun in my eyes just makes it all that more difficult. Hopefully it'll be moving a little bit, but not too much. So it's been a busy chat this morning. Busy chat. Let me make sure I'm live. I am live on YouTube and Rumble. Am I live? I am live on Rumble. We got No Slow. Hello, everybody. Ketra, Keat. Good morning, Mitch and Ellen. Hopefully, yeah. I didn't expect her this morning. I didn't expect her. She's got a lot of stuff going on in her life, and she needs to take care of that. And that's fine with me. I appreciate the help and any of the help that she gives, but I keep telling her, your first priority is to the things that you need to get done. This is fun. She enjoys this, and I hope she continues to enjoy it. Boyd Lamb's over there. We have 13 people watching over there. We have 114 people watching here. Off to a pretty good start. I think a lot of people skip the first half hour of my stream in the morning because they just get bored hearing me say hi to everybody, and I'm not going to do too much of that this morning. I always like to acknowledge the first person in, and that was Aunt B. Last night when I at 8 p.m. She says, I just wanted to check early in the evening in case my body wants to sleep later tomorrow. Yeah, B. And we had Mike Seeley, always one of the first ones in. Bill Cook, Marla Kelly, how you doing? Sandy Blythe here early. Lucy Auerbach always here early. And this is still last night. The Furrow Grandma. Glad you guys are excited about this. And we have Turamir Tuka. Tuka, 6:30 a.m. and I had 3 hours of sleep. Yay, Tuka. Tuka, yeah, it was 11 o'clock last night, but he's over in Finland, way ahead of us. Stickman's Garage says good night to everybody. And who is this? This is No Slow is here. Good to see you. Now we're into the Insomniacs. We have No Slow at 1 o'clock in the morning. Lady June at 1:30. Lucy Auerbach was up with me at 3. And Wayne Herman, 5 o'clock, so we're now into the morning. And Papa Carnivore woke up. Hey. And he said, holy cow, have I been shamed this morning? Look at all the early birds. We've created a monster. Couch Potatoes here. Lynn Gerber, good morning. And Mike Seeley Sr., how you doing? And wow, is that sun bright. I'm going to have to even try to turn this computer screen even a little brighter if I can. I got it at maximum brightness now. Wow. Wow, wow. And Steve Studley was in this morning. Good to see you. We're still around 7 o'clock this morning. Mark Boos, I just showed your picture, Mark, with your coffee cup. Thanks for sending me that. That's great. That was great. Jerry Bell says, hello, meat people. Richard Williams is here this morning. Cliff Medina. Gina Cav. Cliff says, hey, Mitch, it's Cliff from Drones Over Jersey. Yes, Drones Over Jersey, man. I got a few choice things to say about that. And let's see, Terry Sue is here. How you doing? Smoothies here. And question here. Cliff says, what's your take on the drones? I'll get to that. Babs, good morning. And again, what's your take on these drones? I think they're from Mars looking for Elon. Well, you know, Elon made a promise to get to Mars. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. I think it's fabulous. This has brought all the lunatics out of the woodwork with their theories, including that ridiculous senator from New Jersey who said that they're Iranian drones from a mothership off the coast from Iran. He was the Democrat what was his name? Jeff something or other. He was the Democrat that changed parties and became a Republican. That might explain why he thinks it's the Iranians with a mothership. Scientologists are really the only other group of people that I've ever heard that think they have a mothership somewhere, but that's a whole nother story. We will not get into that. And let's see who else is here. Let's do this real quick, and I'm going to be looking for questions. Patty Molden, how are you? We're still not update 30 yet. Man, I feel like a race announcer here, calling a horse race. And in the home stretch, Terry Sue, thinking for myself, says, good morning. How you doing? And Rick from Miami is here. Rick's here, Charger Mopar, and inquiring minds want to know, Papa Carnivore says, I heard that some of the drones in New Jersey were the size of cars. Is that true? And where do you think the drones are coming from? I'm going to answer that. Let me at least get through the hellos and see what other questions we have. And I'm going to do a quick search for the QQQs before I answer that drone question. And just so you know, I have made so that I can do this by myself when Ellen's not here a little more efficiently. I have made a, hang on, let me find it here on my cell phone. I have made a little modification to the studio here. And let me find the picture. Where is it? There it is. This is the latest, guys. I know I'm crazy, but I had this, I think it's like a 27-inch television. There you go. 27-inch television that wasn't being used, and it has an input, and I can use it as a computer monitor. And instead of the little notebook tablet thing that I was using yesterday, I brought this 27-inch TV out here, stuck it next to my computer, hooked it up so that it's a second screen, and I can put windows over there. And as you can see, right on the right side of that big screen is the active chat. So I can scan for those QQQs a big page full at a time, and I hope that's going to help me. Do that. Takes me another 2 minutes to bring this out during the time that I set this up in the morning. I don't know if any of you are really interested, but I gotta do, oh, it's sideways. Well, I gotta do this, just about that much wiring to hook it all up, and takes me about 10 minutes, so it's no big deal. It's worth it for me because I love this. I love doing this. So we're gonna try to be able to keep up with these things a little bit more like I can inside in my studio, because I'd much rather be sitting out here in the sunlight. So, Peter, we're going to get to that. Let me just quickly say hi to anybody else. It is 10 minutes to 8. Time to start answering some questions. Tom but I haven't gotten to 8:30 yet. Tom, early, a lot of early chatting today. Wow, it was great to see. Great to see. Tom from Tampa's here. How you doing, Tom? Steve Rogers, Captain America. Good to see you, Steve. Always good to see you. And B-Mat's here. Hiya, B-Mat. And have I hit 8:30 yet? No, 8:29. And Granny Boo 2 rang the bell at 8:30. Aaron, Booby Goats is here. Cloud 7, don't know you. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Always like to welcome new people. You may have been here before. I don't remember seeing your name. I think Dixie Scott came in. We should get a few new people here because it was 8:30. Danny in Boston is here. Good to see you. Jason H., how you doing, Jason? Tanya's here. Tanya, how you doing? Kitchen Witch, good to see you as usual. And Ketra, I saw you over there in the Rumble chat. Lizzie's here, said good morning. Good morning. I think I said hi to Sandy Blythe, Pamela Suarez, DS111, good to see you. William McCartney, Susan Ivy, Mama Bear chimed in. And I think we're getting to where I need to divert my attention. Lori approved of Mark's picture. That's great. That's great. Jeff Streslike, good morning. And here's a question from DS111. I'm late to the party and finally bought a Costco membership. Can you share about how you have saved over the years on your Sam's Club membership? Oh, I can. I think most people pretty well know, but I'll give you just not a long answer to that question, but a few of the highlights. But first, two things, my friends. Number one, I have to do this. I'm sorry, it's the law. Give me a second. I'm going to put a link in the chat here, and this is, you know what's coming. You know what's coming. I'm not too smooth at this. This is what Ellen does for me. Okay, I put a link in there, and it says buy me a coffee. And if you like what I'm doing and you appreciate and you want to say thank you, Mitch, you've helped me, use that link, buy me a coffee. I appreciate it. It really helps. Second thing you can do for me, and you have been lately, and I want to thank everybody, is use the Amazon links. I won't bother putting the link in for that. You know where to find it. It's on my website at OldGuyCarnivore.com, and the links to stuff I use page, it's in the description of every video. And if you want to buy any of the things that you see me use in my videos, the kitchen tools, or pretty much anything else from Amazon, if you go into Amazon through one of my links and then go shopping, they actually help me out a little bit, and it doesn't cost you anything. So I appreciate those two things, and I do those two things. I don't count the T-shirts and mugs. There's no money, zero in that. Zero. I think in the entirety of this Old Guy Carnivore channel, I may have made $200 commission on T-shirts and mugs. So I don't do that for the money. I do that for the fun. That's fun. But in return for me and you putting up with my few shameless plugs for the Buy Me a Coffee and the Amazon links, I do not have sponsors. I do not run mid-roll ads. I try not to burden you with a lot of sales pitches all the time for all kinds of different phony products, supplements, and everything else that just about everybody else on this platform is doing. So, out of the way, that's out of the way. The second thing that's very, very important before it gets too late. Excuse me. In an effort to keep warm today while I light my cigar. Okay. All is right with the world now. I got sunshine. Oh, God, I want to start singing a Smokey Robinson song. I got sunshine, I got coffee, I got a cigar, and I got you guys. Wow. How can there be a better way to start the day than this? Oh, it's glorious. No, Lori, those Amazon links are only for the United States. Sorry about that. I should tell people that more often, but yeah, I appreciate anybody else that tries to use them, but it's too complicated. It's too complicated. If I wanted to have them work in Canada or somewhere else, I would have to actually reapply and get separate accounts for every one of those different regions. It's just not worth it. Not worth. There's not enough money in it to make it worth all of that paperwork. And I think they'd probably confuse everything and screw me up. Lori's singing, I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Yes, exactly. We're on the same page, Lori. We're on the same page. Anyway, back to DS111's question. You have to save money at Sam's Club, but you have to be careful because they sell things in mass quantities. They sell 55-gallon drums of peanut butter. I mean, they sell things for restaurants and huge families, and you can't buy a small quantity of hardly anything. They package their meats in big packages, as opposed to grocery stores like Publix. But right now, Publix is getting $17, $18, $19 a pound for a decent-looking ribeye, and Sam's Club is getting $12.50 a pound for it. That's quite a savings. Plus, at Sam's Club, I have a credit card with them, and I get 5% back on that and gasoline. I say, and the price on gasoline at Sam's Club is 30 cents cheaper than the cheapest gas station in the neighborhood. So 30 cents cheaper. I paid $2.70 yesterday to fill up my car. Everybody else was around $3, and I got 5% back. 5% of $2.70 is another 13 cents. I paid about maybe $2.85 a gallon. So I saved about 45 cents a gallon. That is a lot of savings. That's a lot of savings. I go in and Sam's Club has markdown meats. When the meats get to within 3 days of their use by or sell by or freeze by date, they mark it down another 25%. That's generally all the meat that I buy. When I buy it, I bring it home and freeze it right away. It's good for a year and a half in the freezer if it's vacuum sealed. And that's where my WeVac vacuum sealer comes in. That thing is fabulous. I have never had not a single one of those things leak and frost up inside. They're great. They're great. Any good vacuum sealer works, but you can keep meat forever. I've still got some steaks from a year and a half ago I'm trying to get through. So I don't buy a lot of steaks right now, but I do buy steaks when they're marked down. So I'm paying $9, $8.50, $9 a pound for ribeye. That's half the price of Publix. Even this year, Publix usually has a sale, and they used to have a sale at $5.99 a pound, $6.99, and they would sell the whole rib roast, and you could slice it up into ribeyes, and that was bone in. But this year it was $10 a pound for their Thanksgiving Day sale. It almost doubled, 60%, 70% increase over last year. And they say there's no inflation. These people are out of their minds. It's all a sales pitch from the government. They don't want us to see the man behind the curtain, evidently. At any rate, there's a tremendous savings. I buy my Dawn dishwashing liquid. I get a half a gallon container of that for like $8. And then I refill my Dawn bottle, my old Dawn bottle, because it is Dawn. That's probably who makes it for them. I buy my coffee K-cups there. They're at least 50, 60, maybe 70% of the price of what you pay for them in a supermarket. All of the bulk stuff, paper towels, paper goods, everything is much, much cheaper. Much, much cheaper. So yes, I think my membership costs me $100 a year at Sam's Club, but it lets me get in 2 hours before they open to the general public by upgrading to what they call a plus membership, and that with the credit card gets me the additional 5% back on virtually everything I buy. And if you buy gas, I sound like a Sam's Club ad here. If you buy gasoline from Sam's Club and use their credit card, you get 5%. But another perk of that credit card is no matter where you buy gasoline, anywhere, if you use that Sam's Club card, you get 5% back. Cash back, 5%. So that would be a good idea for anybody that drives a lot. Now, I don't drive a lot. I hardly leave the house, but I drive 5,000 to 6,000 miles a year, that's it. But it still saves me a little money on gas. Now, Costco's a different story. Costco, their pricing is pretty similar to Sam's, so in that respect, you're going to save money. You have to buy things in big quantities. That's what I like to do because I'm buying a limited quantity or limited number of different foods, but I don't like to run to the store every day. Right now, I'm running to Sam's once a week, once every 2 weeks, and it's usually because I run out of eggs. That's the only thing. But this time I bought myself 6 dozen eggs. I might be good until a week from next Wednesday before I have to go back to Sam's. I've got a ton of food here in the house. I'm set. But I think it's great. I think it's great, DS111. I think that I think it's worth the memberships. I don't like Costco because of the crowds. It's crazy. I don't like the fact that I can't get in early. I never see any markdown meat there. And I love the fact that I can go into Sam's Club, be the first one through the door, be the first one to get to the meat when they have it, and don't have to fight the crowds. I'm usually in there all by myself. They open the doors at 8 o'clock, and by 8:20, 8:25, I am out the door. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I hope that answers that question for you. I hope that answers that question, and good luck with your Costco membership, and I think you'll enjoy it. And I heard somebody bought me a coffee, and I want to acknowledge that. Oh, another one. Thank you so much. Oh, look at that. We have 2 new people. Thank you so much. The Forgetful DM says, thanks, Mitch. Appreciate ya. And Lioness Lou, thank you so much. Says thank you. You're very welcome, both of you. I really appreciate that. Very, very nice of you. Very nice of you. All right, let's continue to go down here. What time is it? It is 9:03. 9:03. And Tormir asks a question, a real easy one to answer. How are you, boss? My stock answer on a morning like this, feeling as good as I feel, even after having been up since 2:30 in the morning, is if I felt any better, Tuka, it would be illegal. It would be illegal. Sharon McCabe is here. How you doing, Sharon? Good to see you, and I want to try. Yeah, I'm a little almost a half an hour behind in this chat, but I'm going to go down here a little bit longer. Boyd Lamb's here complaining about the cold. Yes. How you doing, Boyd? Good to see you. Sybil V is here. Hiya, Sybil V. Good to see you. I think I said hi to Aaron already. Booby Goats. Don Schonger chimed in, says good morning. What a great group. 145 people here over in Rumble. 15 people watching. And Mike Seeley Sr. chimed in over there. Appreciate you guys giving me a little traffic on Rumble, although it's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Very few views on my videos. I really don't think, other than, I know Ken Berry's over there, but I don't think the carnivore community goes to Rumble quite yet to find things to look for. I think they've got a lot of growing to do, but if I can help them a little, maybe. Mark Booz is here. I said hi to you already. Let's see. Your mom is here. Good morning, your mom. I'm late. Better late than never. Good to see you. And don't forget, tonight, everybody who's a member of a channel member, we have our private community live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern. And as soon as this is over, I will be creating that live stream and posting it, so you'll see it start to show up in your feed. Let's see. Garen White, somebody new. Good to see you. Donita Tess, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm trying not to miss anybody, but I want to get to some questions. Okay. I want to talk about the drones a little bit, but before I do that, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do a quick scan on that big monitor for any QQQs. I started at the bottom of the chat. So far, I don't see any. This is a quick way for me to go through it. I probably could do the same kind of a search, but right now I don't want to take a chance on hitting the wrong thing and having to redecorate all these screens. But I don't see a lot of questions. I see a lot of conversation, a lot of chatting. Wow, where are all the questions? I can only go back to 8:37 in this chat, and I didn't see any questions other than the question about the drones over New Jersey. Wow. Well, then I guess I'm not going to miss anybody's question this morning. Let me look one more time real quick. Bear with me. Bear with me while I relight this thing as well. The problem with a cigar, I'm telling you, they don't put chemicals in cigars to keep them burning like they do with cigarettes. That's why you set a cigarette down in an ashtray, it's going to burn right down to the filter, but a cigar just goes out in a couple of minutes if you stop puffing on it. Okay, I'm looking, I don't see any questions, Those QQQs usually stand out like a sore thumb. Down to 9 o'clock in the chat here. BMAT says, hey Mitch, I bought you some coffee too. It didn't go ka-ching, but let me look. BMAT did. BMAT bought me 3 coffees. Thank you so much, Matt. Really appreciate that. Why isn't it showing up on this screen? Oh, there it is. You did it first. You were the first one. I missed it. It was off the bottom of the screen. Yes, Matt, you did. Thank you. And you said, stay warm, Mitch. I am. And thanks for reminding me of that. I always like to acknowledge those things. And that's what happens when you're going like a one-arm paper hanger, which I am right here. But at least having this big monitor, using this, it's not a big TV, but it's big compared to a computer monitor out here. Oh, here's a question. Mona C. Asked a question. I found one. Let me get this one off the screen, because I have a tendency to leave them on the screen way too long. But Mona C, and it came in at 8:59. So let me try to find it so I can put it up on the screen. 8:59. God, there's so many chats. 8:48, 8:52. You have no idea how much scrolling I got to do to find Mona C's question. 8:57. 8:58. Where is it? Holy cow. Mona C, here you go. And I confused Mona C with Mark C the other day, because when I see that capital M and that capital C, it triggers Mark C, because we have a Mark C here, and I made a mistake of thanking Mona for a coffee yesterday. I attributed it to Mark C, and Mark is a very generous guy, and he gives a lot to this channel. He gives gifted memberships very, very often. We love him. So I assumed something, and you know what the word assume means. So again, Mona, question. She says, good morning, y'all. Morning, y'all. Mona C. from Mississippi here. The carbon steel skillets in your Amazon store aren't available. Really? Really? Wondering if there is merely a restock. Is there another brand? I have to find out. I've never seen them unavailable. But the Debaye carbon steel, they have many different sizes. They have, the one that I use is an 11-inch. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to check that out and see if they have something very, very close, maybe a difference in the height of the walls. I know they have a carbon steel one they call, that's designed pretty much specifically for searing steaks. And it's a little shallower pan. Doesn't need to be as deep when you sear a steak, because you're only using the bottom, and you don't have to contain liquid or a lot of other stuff. So let me go and look at that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate that. Mona. Okay, your mom had a question, and that question came in at 9 a.m. Where is it? Here it is. Your mom, I think I've fallen into the grass-fed trap. Who eats that versus conventional? Any difference? I've answered that question. I have a video about that not too long ago, too. If you go into my channel and or YouTube, and in the search box, just type up the OldGuyCarnivore, just type the word grass, or grass, and type green. You'll come up with that video, and in that video I spent a little while really addressing that issue. I don't eat grass-fed beef. Let me address that quickly. I don't care for grass-finished. All beef is supposed to be grass-fed. It's just the way they're finished before slaughter. Grass-finished, the purists say, is healthier. They talk about, they actually have people thinking that if a cow is grass finished, that you're going to be grain finished, rather. You're going to be eating grain. No, nothing of the food that you eat is going to be in your muscle. That food is digested, broken down, and maybe you'll get a little more omega-6 fat from it than omega-3, but there's nothing left of the grain the cow eats. That grain is sugar. It is torn apart right away. Most of it goes to fat. So a grain-finished cow is going to be fatter. And that's what we want. And that's why they feed these cows grain, to fatten them up. That's why they feed hogs grain, to fatten them up. Corn, they feed them corn. Sugar, they need to eat sugar. You think that human beings are the only animals that fatten up when they eat sugar? While the nutritionists are all busy telling you need to eat more carbohydrates to lose weight, which is false, these same scientists working for a different company who makes animal feeds are scientifically formulating these feeds to achieve maximum fatness in the animals. And it's the same food. It's the same grains. It's corn. It's wheat. Soy especially. So when you go to buy a steak, if you're looking for a well-marbled steak that's just going to be fat and juicy and taste delicious, you're not going to find a grass-finished steak unless it's from a specific small farm who let that cow graze and get old and eventually maybe fatten up. So most grass-finished beef is going to have a different flavor. It's not going to be as fat. And in order to hit the appropriate fat ratio that we're trying to achieve, you may, generally people have to add fat to it like they would with lean beef, even if you get a fatty cut of beef. So I'm not the only one. Anthony Chafee buys most of his beef at Costco. They're USDA choice, because USDA choice and USDA prime, in the environment of how they produce and raise cows these days, is pretty well, it has to be grain finished. Eat the grain finished beef. All the nutrients are there. Maybe, I've heard it said that there's 5% more nutrients in grass-finished beef. Well, that's great. That's great. You know what? To make up for that 5%, eat 2 extra bites, and it'll all wash out the same. All of the carnivores that I know, including me, and that's my best source of what I consider accurate information, have gained all these health benefits eating nothing but grain-finished animals. Now, I tried grass-finished once. That's it, once. I bought it at Sam's, and they have these prepackaged, vacuum-sealed. I don't like to buy my meat prepackaged, vacuum-sealed. I like to buy my meat in a tray that some butcher actually butchered and cut up. It was the worst steak, the worst tasting steak, the worst texture, toughest steak that I have ever had in my life, and it was $18 a pound because it was so special, and it was grass-finished. Horrible. I would never, ever do that again. You got to enjoy this. If you don't enjoy it, if you don't enjoy the taste of the meat, if you don't really look forward to eating the steak, you're never going to do it. You're never going to do it. So I wouldn't worry about it. That is into the grass-fed trap. Yes, you're absolutely right. It is a trap, I think. And there's so many people, and I'm not knocking them. They're great companies, these people that sell meat and package it in dry ice and ship it to people. But those companies that have sponsors and YouTube influencers advertising their stuff on their streams, those companies are not mom and pop small factory farms. They're big operations, commercial operations. So unless you live next door to a farm, and you know the farmer, and you've tried his meat, and you know that he grazes his cows properly, and they graze long enough to fatten up, which isn't profitable for any commercial producer of meat to keep cows alive that long, to keep feeding them that long, taking care of them that long. They have to charge so much for the meat from those cows. It's not worth it. So unless they're your neighbor, I think you're better off going to Sam's or Costco. And the reason that I like Sam's and Costco is the prices, but they move a lot of meat. They move a lot of meat. I mean, tons of meat. So you know that what you're buying isn't some leftover thing that people have passed over for the past week or two. Anyway, that's my answer to that question. It's a great question. It's a great question, and your mom, and I hope that answer. And watch that video of mine if you think that that you might want to, maybe I didn't say something here or make a point here that I made in that video. And your mom says you missed my question, and I see that. Yes, see, now I'm beginning to see the QQQs. I'm going a little bit slower. I was just really skimming through it before. I found your QQQ. And I fix shit. I know what he's trying to say. Question, have you done your blood test results lately? I'm about to. My physical is January 9th. I will go in at the end of December and get my blood work and share it with all you guys to be sure. To be sure. Including my stellar astronomical LDL cholesterol number that has the entire medical community within miles of me. losing sleep over my imminent death from a heart attack because of my high cholesterol. The music used to be, DS-111 used to be the chemical that lights the cigar. Well, you know, when I'm editing, it was a nice gag, but I can't do it anymore. It was a nice gag when I was editing those videos with the magic lighter. I could take the audio track, and every time the flame started, I could start the music, and every time I let go of the button, I could stop the music, and I kept making fun, and I'd click it like this, and it would hear the music for a second, and there were actually people who thought the music was coming from the lighter. It's the same music, and the best I can do is this. I play the music, and I light the cigar. Okay, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna run down the chat. I'm down at the bottom. I think I got all your questions. Let's talk about the drones. Got 10 minutes left. Let's talk about the drones over New Jersey. The drones over New Jersey are out of control, sensationalist, opinionated, clickbait media from social media right on up to the big national networks, looking for something to attract everybody's attention. None of what they're saying, zero, not a peep. And we'll come back when they find out what was at the heart of all this. We'll find, and let's do one of these. This is going to be recorded for posterity. Mitch's predictions. And we can go back and watch this to see if Mitch is wrong. And I was wrong once before. I was wrong. I have a shirt that says, I may be wrong, but I doubt it. But I was wrong once before. It was the time I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't. And I don't think I'm wrong about this. Not a thing you hear on the news, not a conjecture, other than the answer I'm going to give you now, can possibly be reality or true. And the answer is that this is some kind of a government research program, probably from DARPA. If you know what DARPA is, the skunk works, they call it. It's where all new weapons, aircraft designs are designed. It is one of the most top secret agencies in the country. This has got to be them or somebody like them testing out new weapons. And there's reasons why you almost have to believe that. And the biggest reason is the news media say, we called the government and they claim it's not them. Well, duh. That alone should tell you that they're doing it. It's top secret. They don't even say no comment. They deny it. What would you expect them to do? You want them to announce to the world, hey, Russia, North Korea, China, Iran, look at this wonderful new weapon we're developing. In fact, you can get a first-hand look at it. Just go to New Jersey some night. Look up over the military base where these things are being sighted. Come on, people. Stop with the aliens and the UFOs and all this shit. And I've been looking very closely at the so-called videos that they've been showing on the morning news. And the one I saw this morning, I didn't have my camera. I wish I had taken a picture of it on the TV screen. It was a jet airliner, for God's sakes. You could very clearly make out the navigation lights. The tail. It was an orange tail that had lights on it. It was probably on its way into Newark or New York because they're flying over Jersey at a low altitude. They're on approach. This was an airliner, and they're talking about drones from Mars. For God's sakes. This is what's wrong with us, with our media. Everything is designed to scare you, to make you fear something so that you'll continue to watch. They do it with hurricanes. They do it with everything. It's hard not to watch it because every once in a blue moon they actually have a story that may have some truth to it. But most of the time, it's teasers. It's, new study says that meat causes a heart attack, story at 11. And then you tune in at 11 for the story, and you don't get that story until 2 minutes before the whole newscast ends. They keep you hanging on. They need their demographics up. They need views. And they play on people's gullibility for this stuff. Anyway, the evidence they showed me this morning was an airliner on approach to one of the major New York area airports. Okay, think about this for a minute. Number one, this senator comes on. He's probably shilling for the government, trying to attract people's attention away from finding out what it really is, because it's necessarily a secret program. They have to test it sometime, so they test them at night. Because they're testing it in an area with a lot of air traffic coming and going from northern Jersey and New York, they have to have lights on these things. They don't even look like drones. They look like airplanes. And the ones that they're getting pictures of that I've seen so far mostly are actually airplanes, not drones. But they're playing on people's fear of drones. Drones have been demonized. The demonization of drones is what made me pretty well stop flying drones. You're spying on me. You're spying on my wife in her bathing suit out by the pool. You're flying over my property. You're invading my privacy, so I need to kill you and shoot your drone out of the sky. It's crazy. You ask any drone pilot, the heat that they get, people call the police on them. There's nothing nefarious about it. It's a hobby, for God's sake. Maybe some people use it for that, but those people are going to commit crimes no matter what they do. So they play on this business about, oh, the drones are coming to get you. What about if Amazon ever gets their drone delivery program going? That's all you're going to see in the sky all day long are drones delivering tube socks to people. How crazy is that? But that has put the rest of us out of the drone hobby because of the new federal regulations and the FAA Part 107 rules, and the fact that we need licenses now if we use it for any furtherance of that's terrible. It just drove me out of it. They always regulate me out of any of my hobbies for some reason or another. And now I'm getting the same heat in this particular thing, the carnivore thing. Oh, we're killers. We're putting out misinformation, bad information. I'm beginning to believe that if Mitch does it, somebody's from the government is going to claim it's going to kill you and try to put Mitch out of business. But that's because most people are on the wrong track on most things. So these drones, these so-called drones, they might not even be drones. They may be drones. Some people say they're as big as school buses. Well, yes, a jet airliner will appear to be as big as a school bus flying overhead at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 feet, which is the altitude that they're probably at when they pass over that where. The fact that it's on a military base means it's the government. Telling people there's a mothership off the coast that we haven't seen. Let me tell you something. You can't go off the coast of the United States on a rubber duck raft where the government and the radar and all of the sensors that we have won't know that you're there. That was part of of the infrastructure that we put in to try to stop the drug traffic all along the East Coast. And we have a whole series of radar balloons that are called Fat Alberts because they're so big, and they're tethered. They're tethered, and look it up on Google. Look up Fat Albert balloons. They're tethered from Maine all the way down to Key West, and they're up at 10, 12,000 feet with downward-facing radar. You could not get anywhere near the coast of the United States without being detected by these things, without having fighter jets if they thought it was a threat. Do you think Iran, for God's sakes, could have a, quote, mothership off the coast of New Jersey that we didn't know about? And also, do you think that if they weren't trying to keep this all secret, that they would, and they thought, anybody in our government or military thought that these things were in some way real? Do you think for 1 second that they wouldn't be investigating them, sending fighters to fly around them to find out what they were? Nobody in the government is interested in doing anything about that, because that will only attract suspicion that the government is in charge. It is exactly what it has to be. It has to be. Testing new technologies and new aircrafts. They have to test these things almost a full 10 years before they can actually finish testing, get them into production, build them, and actually turn them into something that would be useful on some future battlefield. The new aircraft that are being introduced today were first conceptualized by the Skunk Works and DARPA and some of these very, very top secret, necessarily top secret organizations that we have, and it's a good thing we have them. We could never maintain dominance in this world without them, and that's what these are. In my opinion, the smartest thing for them to do, and I don't know if they'll do it, but if I were them and I was running DARPA, I would say, you know what, maybe we ought to cool it with these things for a couple months and let the furor die down. But it's great fodder. It's great fodder for the newscasts. Great fodder for the newscasts. So that's my prediction of what the mysterious drones over New Jersey are. And if indeed it's not the federal government, okay, think about this. If it's not the federal government, what the hell? What the hell are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year on our defense budget if we can't detect a couple of friggin' drones flying over an Air Force base and figure out what they are? Are we that vulnerable? Are we that vulnerable? Unbelievable. Look at what just came in. Holy cow. I knew who that was. I knew who that was. I got a super chat. Holy cow. And let me go down here so I can show it to you on the screen. I'm a little overtime this morning, but you talk about a blast from the past. iFixShet is my good old friend Dan. He had a channel named Drone Worship, and Dan was a big player in the drone community. We've been to some fly-ins together. I always liked Dan. He's a one-of-a-kind guy, and I would love to have a weight loss open debate with you if you're up to it. Dan, I know how opinionated you are, and I do not want, I have my opinion and you have a YouTube channel, and I think you should put your opinion out there, but I don't want to have a debate with anybody about it. That's not what I do here. I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't do it because I don't do reaction videos. I don't say anybody is wrong. I'm a lover. what I say to people, Dan, basically, and thank you for the super chat. Thanks so much. And what I say to people is, you know what? I have determined that this is exactly correct, and it works. First time in my life after, listen, I'm a great deal older than you. After all those years of failing, and I've learned why, and I know the biochemistry better than most doctors do, and I understand the psychology, and so I can't debate that with anybody. I can't, because it would take too long, and it'd be just playing whack-a-mole. I don't do debates. I don't do debates because debates always, when you win a point, it's always, well, what about this? Okay, what about that? It never ends. It can never end. If you found something, Dan, that works for you, my friend, I'm tickled. I'm thrilled for you. I know you've got a very checkered health history. I know you've been through hell, health-wise. If you found something that works for you and you disagree with anything that I say, I think, my opinion is to say, you have to do what works for you and not listen to me. I don't ever tell anybody they're wrong. I don't ever tell them what they need to do. I tell them only what I do and why I think it works. And everybody has to take that and all the shit from the rest of the world that they're getting into consideration in making the decision of what they want to do for themselves. And that should be an educated decision. And if you have your own theories, and I love you, Dan. You know that I've never said a negative word about you. I understand you, and you're a maverick in every way, and I appreciate that. But whatever you think you would want to debate with me, I don't want to debate it, because I'm not going to change my mind. Not after 2.5 years of perfect health, fixing everything that was wrong with me, losing, weighing 136 pounds now, being in great shape, able to physically do anything I want, and pushing 80 years old. No debates. I wouldn't debate anybody on anything. I have my opinion, and you're entitled to yours. Thanks for the super chat, Dan. And I knew who you were when I saw the name. I remember that. And you do fix shit. You do. You're a wizard when it comes to that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's great. It's great to see you. It's great to see you. And the last entry in the chat was, where is it? It's gone. Oh no. I saw one. Here it is. Terry Sue says, I agree with Mitch. Do what works for you, period. Yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. At any rate, my friends, that's my opinion. And I'm sure Dan probably shares my opinion on the drones, because if there's one thing Dan knows, it's drones. He's been at it. He was at it long before me. And I always respected. I still do respect his knowledge when it comes to drones. He's a hell of a pilot, too. Hell of a pilot. Oh, okay. Dan says, that's different, Dan. You said you wanted to debate. Usually when somebody says they want to debate, it means they disagree. I'm not trying to change your mind, Mitch. I'm just trying to understand it. Oh, that's why I'm here, buddy. I'll move mountains to help you try to understand that. I have 500 videos about carnivore already on this channel, not to mention these live streams. And in those 500 videos, you'll get you could get the education of a lifetime. You could get the education of a lifetime, I think, at least in what I've learned and what I've discovered. And you've known me for a long time, and you know that I'm not a stupid man. So I don't say things unless I believe them. So yeah, I'd love to help you, Dan. I'd love to help you. I think that following this carnivore lifestyle is a challenge for most people, because it goes contrary to everything that the rest of the world is telling you is good for you. But you already know that most advice that you get is comes from somebody's agenda and not their desire to really help people. I have no other agenda here. My channel does well, but I don't get enough views to make any money on this. And you know how little money YouTube really pays unless you get hundreds of thousands of views on every video that you make. And I'll never get that because I'm a hard ass and I scare more people off than I'm the carnivore guy that'll smoke a cigar in front of everybody and tell them, if you don't like the fact that I smoke cigars, maybe you should go listen to somebody else. That certainly isn't the attitude of somebody who's trying to hook everybody in as a subscriber. I don't care about that. I only want to deal with reasonable, non-judgmental people. And it works. So yeah, Dan, stick around. Come on in. I'm here every morning, 8:30, 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. And be great to get to know you again in a different venue than drones. Thanks a lot. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Dan lives over in Tampa. Scooby's here. Hey, Ellen, good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you chimed in here. Doing a little overtime. But good to see you, Ellen. Saying hi to everybody. And your mom says, okay, guys, everybody's starting to say goodbye. And I'm going to start to say goodbye, too. So, it was great this morning. It was great. Thank you all for coming. I hope I didn't miss anybody's question. I think I found them all, which is my goal for the day. Thank you all for the support, the super chats, and the coffees. Much appreciated. I just want to check 1 minute here and make sure I didn't miss anybody else's. Let's see. No, I think I got everybody that bought me a coffee this morning, and thank you all. Really appreciate it. With that, my friends, I'm going to exit on a happy note. And the music just ended, but I'm going to let it start again. I'm going to give you a couple minutes before I close it out to say goodbye to your friends. Still got 133 people in here. Great to see it. Great to see you all hanging in there. And I'm going to relight my cigar here so I can go out in a puff of smoke like a magician. Sad to say, guys, I think my old magic lighter has seen better days. I expect it to give up the ghost. They eventually get so clogged up they don't work anymore. I have a brand new magic lighter that I keep handy in case that one doesn't work. And this one has a much better flame. And I can really light cigars. So I think I may be retiring that old friend of mine, and we'll have to go to a new one. At any rate, there's the puff of smoke. There's the happy music. Here's me saying, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow morning at 8:30. Tonight on the private community. And the music has ended, and so has this little show this morning. So, my friends, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.